Hey you guys, Fabio Hart coming back with another video. So I had got an email, pretty lengthy email, and pretty much in a nutshell what the person was asking me was, Fabio, do I need to be insured and bonded? And that's with either commercial and residential, okay? Commercial or residential. And I just responded back, yes. Okay, kept it simple. Told them if they had any more questions to definitely get back with me. I also stated that I understand. To be honest, when you say insurance um, and bonded, a lot of times that scare a lot of people because they're just not sure exactly how much that costs. They haven't done any research. Um, they just hadn't done the footwork to see, to even inquire about that. Okay, so here's the thing. You have to be bonded and insured, okay, or insured and bonded. Not so much bonded, okay, but it's generally industry standard to be insured and bonded. So that's why most companies, whether they are or they're not, most companies do say that they insure and bonded because typically that's industry standard on both sides, okay? That's residential and commercial. Don't let anybody tell you that you don't need any insurance, you don't need to be bonded, that type of thing, right? Now, again, with bonding, it's not so much, but I would suggest that you do because all the bond just covers like if someone, like theft, pretty much. If someone steals something or whatever the case is, that's where the bond will kick in. But if it's just you just a one-man team, a one-man party, and you're cleaning residential or you're doing commercial cleaning contracts and that type of thing, and you're a good hearted person, you're not going to steal anything, you probably would never ever use the bond ever, okay? Out of all of my years of doing commercial cleaning since 2012 and having insurance, business insurance, or general liability insurance, I've never had not one claim. Okay, I've never had not one claim. Now, I've had situations where a client would say, well, your employee did this or your employee did that, and whereas you can make a mutual agreement to pay something, they'll say something like, well, we'll take off X, Y, and Z from the monthly billing, okay? Sometimes that's a lot better than doing the paperwork to file a claim for an insurance, okay? So again, I would suggest that if you're starting up a commercial cleaning or a residential cleaning business, to get that as soon as possible. Generally speaking, the minute you get the contract and there's money exchange, you will pretty much want to have that in place. For me, it took me about 9 months when I first started, right? Because money was a factor for me. I was doing it by myself, and then I hired one or two people. I was working, it was like a team, so I was always around them. So I knew quite a bit, I knew wasn't nothing gonna go wrong, or at least I had a feeling that nothing was gonna go wrong, right? Because again, money was a factor for me. So I was trying to build up the revenue so that I would be able to handle the premiums and handle the cost of the insurance and bond. Okay, so again, you definitely need that. Also, if you're doing you're gonna have companies that ask you, do you have car insurance? Okay, that's gonna be necessary. That's gonna be a plus. Okay, the bond is just like a nominal thing that coincides with the insurance. Okay, it's generally not that much money to add bond to it, right? It's like $10. It's really not a lot of money to add to your insurance. Okay, and it's generally considered like a rider to your insurance. Okay, so it just rides your insurance policy. Okay, so it's like an attachment, so to speak, when in terms of the bond to your insurance. Okay, now the standard right now is generally about $1 million, $2 million. That's generally what people ask you to have, at least $1 million or $2 million policy. Okay, I would suggest that you do research. Okay, you check out different insurance companies, see what you can get for whatever dollar amount. You kind of just work it out with the agent. You let them know exactly what you're doing, what you need, and just kind of shop around, so to speak. Kind of get prices somewhat like what you would do for a vehicle, right? You shop around price. If you're looking for a Mustang or whatever, well, you might not get it from car lot A, right? You shop around, go to B, go to C, right? And kind of compare and contrast to see who would give you the best deal, right? And that's the same way you would want to do for the insurance, okay? Generally speaking, they'll work out deals because they want your business, right? So, and they get a commission off of that. Your insurance agent will get a commission on it. So they not necessarily want you to go off the phone or necessarily want you to leave out of their establishment, their insurance facility, right? They want to try to sell you the policy. They want to try to get you the policy. So that's why I say it's pretty, I wouldn't say easy, but it's not as hard as many people think it is to get the insurance. I would say shop around, most likely like online. You can call around. They got on certain websites you can put in and, put your credentials in and get a free quote or just an approximation about how much you're going to be paying for the insurance. So there's a lot of different ways that you guys can do it. But yes, you will need for your commercial and your residential cleaning, you will need insurance and bonding. Okay, now you got some states that don't, where they say you don't need it, but I would recommend that you get it. Okay, even in the event that you don't need it. Okay, because it's always best to be safe than sorry. Okay, especially when you get into the line of having employees. Just because you background check them, you drug screen them, and I tell people this all the time, that doesn't necessarily mean that they won't be tempted to take something, right? Okay, and the object of the game, even though you have insurance, is not to really have to use it, right? So insurance, being insured and bonded to the customer, just give them a blanket of security, right? If it come down to a company that's not insured and bonded versus a company that is insured and bonded, and you ask a client which one they're going to take, they'll feel pretty safe having a company that's insured and bonded. And that's on either side, guys. That's whether you're having a residential or whether you're dealing with a commercial client, okay? So yes, you do want to have insurance, even in the event if it's not required in your state. Because at some point, if something goes wrong and you don't have it, then you got to come out of pocket, or you're going to be scrambling in your head like, oh, I need to get insurance. Or someone, let's say you hire somebody and they steal something, right? That's where the bonding would come in. Okay, they steal something, of some value, whatever the case is, bam, you're not insured, you're not bonded, boom, there you go, right? Same thing when your employee get injured, whatever the case is, at a property or at a business, again. So you definitely want to have your insurance and bond, your liability insurance and bond situated. Okay, like I say, if money is a factor, I wouldn't sweat it. Like I wouldn't hold my business back and say, well, you know what, I'm not going to start business until I get it. Even though you can go that route, it's just gonna, we don't know how long it'll take you to come up with the money if that's a factor, right? Because it could be pretty expensive, especially in Michigan. Michigan insurance across the board, car, home insurance, every insurance in Michigan is really, really pricey, right? So it's up there. But like I say, if you can go ahead and get it, I would suggest you get it when you start your business checking account, you're getting your DBA, you start getting all of this. If you have the money allocated for that, I would suggest you go ahead and get it. Again, and that's whether you have commercial business, commercial business, or that's whether you're just dealing with residential. Okay, because a lot of times people think, well, if I'm doing residential, I don't need it. That's not true. Okay, that's not true, because if you bump up against the refrigerator, or if your machine, you're doing a floor job, or you're doing something, doing a shampoo on a carpet, or whatever the case is, right? Or your employee or yourself, if something happened, right? You blow something out, it's going to cost you. You're going to have to come out of pocket. So it's not true that you don't need insurance. Okay, and if the homeowner asks you, do you have insurance, and you lie, because a lot of times they won't ask you to prove that you have insurance. Trust, because we don't get asked a lot of times. Even though I have insurance, we don't necessarily get asked. So they believe your word at face value, but something happened and then you don't have insurance. Now they're going to have you all on Yelp and all the social media platforms saying that you lied, don't hire this company, you lied, they said they had insurance, they don't have insurance. So you don't want to be, have that reputation, about your business over insurance, over something that you could have got very simple, right? Again, shop around for, pricing and different things like that, right? A lot of companies, like I say, on a commercial side, a lot of companies will rather you have, maybe like $1 million policy. If you can get a lesser policy, you can get a lesser policy. Because again, the object of the game is to not be able to have it, but you not have to use it, right? You don't want to necessarily have to use it. And like I say, depending on what it is, a lot of times company won't beat you up for it. I had situations where someone said, maybe one of my employees did this or did that, and they were like, you come to a mutual agreement, and they'll say, well, how about we deduct such and such out of your out of the monthly payment, and that'll be fair because again, number one, you don't want your insurance premiums to go up, right? You don't want to have to do put a request in just because you messed up, where you can give them a few $100 or let them take out a few $100 off of your monthly billing, which sometimes they do. Okay. So again, I just wanted to do this video about insurance and being bonded. Like I say, bonded is generally dealing with theft, right? So that's where the bond is. It's just a rider to your insurance policy, and it really doesn't cost that much. A lot of people will get insurance, but they won't get the bond. I would suggest that you get both of them because the bond is generally not even that much. It just rides onto your actual insurance policy. Okay. If you have any further questions, you can always email me at hollywoodjanitorialserv@gmail.com, hollywoodjanitorialserv@gmail.com. And that's going to do it. Remember, February the 15th is the last day for the coaching, the paperwork, and all of that stuff. So if you're interested in it, guys, it's coming very, very quickly. I would suggest that you hop on there right away. Okay? That's going to do it. That's going to do it for now. The only person that could ever stop you from starting up your own dreams and making it to the top is you. Take care, guys.